I know that. And I respect that intimacy. I know that there are things that are deeply revealing in that no partner has a right to get access to unless it's given to them by their partner. You know, not because they overhear it and have their own interpretation and process about that. So it's something to take care with. See, I'm much more concerned about the individual because I know that's where partnership begins. You know, it's not the partnership that's going to make your life better. I mean, if you think your partnership's going to make your life better, you're really messed up. You know, it's not whether your partnership's going to make your life better or worse. It's about whether it's the right relationship. You know, you can have the correct relationship with somebody who's a real pain in the ass. It's all right if it's correct, because that's what you're there to deal with if it's correct. You know, there's all kinds of lessons in this process, but you have to be yourself, because otherwise then you can't tolerate it. You know, I often tell people that the greatest enemy in your life is somebody that loves you. You know, they're great enemies, eh? You know, somebody like me who's very individual, I get melancholic. You know, fortunately, I don't have a partner that comes up to me and says, "Oh, why are you sad?" You know, that's a terrible thing to do to somebody who's emotional or individual. And it's terrible because what you do is that you set them up. You set them up to become the not self. You set them up to make up a reason. And of course, there's no reason. We're just dealing with chemistries. And it's one of those things about partnership. You have to be clear within yourself. You have to be in your relationship as yourself. And all relationships begin with the individual. There is no other place. We've already seen what it means for him. And just based on the, you know, late 20th century gossip about this family, you know that that's not what's lived out there. And you can look at that design and see how easy it is for this man to only live out his manifesting and not pay any attention whatsoever to that generative quality within him. We know what's there for him to live out. We know that. We know that if he accepts that he's a manifesting generator and he experiments, he will see that there are all kinds of forces in this life that recognize his energy and want access to it. And that they will come to that energy. They will always come to that energy. As a matter of fact, he's in the role model position for that. You know, you put your butt on the throne and you wait for everybody to come up and want something from you. You know, it's a classic position. Instead of being the activist, you know, instead of being the active initiating ego leader. See, he can do that once he responds. You know, we have a problem, Your Majesty, with this, that, and that. Should we do something about it? Uh-huh. Okay. Then he can get on his white horse and he can play prince. But only then. And it's the only way that's going to work. And not only that, but this is an emotional generator. Emotional.